The world is a poem. We meet near the room of continual dark, where crows pretend at ravens and flock in oaks and caw, caw, call, invisible as a poem in the leaves. Inside, the suggestion box has a gremlin that eats paper, and behind the counter is a princess of top 40 with a coppery voice, a smile behind the smile you can see, and a forehead etched with her history. We meet and exchange syllables and sounds meant to help us see and think and feel and know better. We, the sisterhood of Panoply. The fluid arrangement of us is a poem. We think in verse, the clench of truth in syllables. The bonds are braided, multi-twine rope, unknotted. Faith speaks in poems and suspects as much, but it is all poetry when we gather. The way we hear it, the way she tells it, about how the big blue trailer park pool lost its safety after the robbery, about that step off of concrete to nowhere near the back breezeway door she doesn't use, and the what is it? That word for having a little bit of joy? The world is a poem that began as a word, a story with no end, a song with every note in synchrony, a yearning, miserable beauty that lingers, that turns you inside out from ear to heart. And we listeners, we professional gatherers of snippets, we scramble to mark down the score, the libretto black and white, even as new colors are being invented and prismed out across creation. Says Faith, the one with the wooden platform to both block and stand on.
Stepping off concrete. Tears of anguish puddled in my ears when the Eastern healer pressed emotional meridians and tapped the lung point to a deeply buried haunt. My conscience, who is my father, dead, who waits still for my faith spill of courage to name whatever the words are for having a little bit of joy.
Family vacation. On a fence post, a wren trilling, and now another calling at a side window.
Where are you?
Here I am.
Where are you?
Here I am.
What we're doing every day of our lives, that song. While the plates dry beside the sink, while the last bit of wine is poured, beyond every torrent of speech, another gesture. No one says a word about first stars or wishes when a pocked moon rises above the trees. What we would take back if we could, what we meant to say but didn't.
Moonlight. The other night held a visible full moon. Tonight, chomp, chomp. The pieces have started to disappear, and with them, my hopefulness. Constant stars watch as my resolve breaks into dark welts of night prey that gnaw like witches down my spine until I bend to beg for conciliation. In as many days as it takes, the moon will dissolve in chunks until the vision of the new moon, the one we don't see, hides in the caverns of the heavens and disappears into layers of despair. I don't know the new moon, for by its very name, it promises promise, and there's none of that left for those of us who will say goodbye.
Aunt Cora's fever. We watch, and near
105
her
degrees.
face begins to shake. Time slows and ticks. Aunt Cora sinks into a state akin to what she often sought, oblivion, a hazy scrim or muddled dull veneer between her spirit and her constant fear. Her life was often judged a waste. Who sees the flame in any life?
106 degrees.
And what of Cora still survives? What wordless, hungry, loving part that drives her heart and lungs? What part that animates? what part that yearns or needs or craves or waits. We wait, we hear,
108 degrees.
and fever burns, a breath of fire enmeshed inside the dreadful gift of bone and flesh. Inertia fills the room, our trembling names it. The fire meets her spirit's flame and claims it.
Arrows. I am in the hallway of You Are Here. Little arrow angling up, invisible forefinger raised to trace a path. She is telling me about her mother. She is saying more blankets to keep her warm and eating very little food. We stand where the hallway makes a right angle. The corridor has exit signs and doors with the red word alarm on the handle. Most arrows do not look exactly like arrows. Stairways and hallways, for example, though hallways resemble arrows more than, say, empty pill bottles. Most mothers are arrows when they point their daughters in certain directions. I was supposed to sew dresses and play golf. I was supposed to have children. To follow an arrow is to become an arrow sometimes. I am talking to another daughter about her dying mother. It's not what we say, but that we keep talking. Carpet stain, mildew, tiger lily. Her voice has a serrated edge, a glint that shows itself, which is how I know that neither of us is lost. Promontory, horizon, lighthouse.
In the dark cult of God, there might have been a mother not already shattered into children, shining scraps of smiles, tyrannies of girls. She was always a giggle in the dark cult of God.
A mother might have been commander of the army, performing forced embroidery, loopy doilies, Easter bunny stories, camouflage for mother prayers hardened into father gods.
There was the dress-up mom, skewered on ridicule, Tahitian mom kebabs, turkey tetrazzini, crispy critters and a soft high voice, forever after lost in the grandiosity of the persecuted child.
There was a mother of aerosol, a subtle invasion of underthings, fluttering wings, undercover fingering things in the folds of photographs.
Smile, she said, smile, she said, smile. Sleep, she said, sleep, she said, sleep.
In a pillowy bubble of memory, pop goes the cataract, shattered contact, raped in the frame of the pretty picket picture. Draw me a pretty picture, she said. Pretty, pretty, please.
Touch. When talk is gone, once again, all is touch. In the final months, all of the beloved is precious. Wrinkled skin, sagging jowls or balls or beautiful face, the gray in hair and face, the softness of skin sliding above the remains of muscles. Holy one, precious one, dearly loved one, I would touch these thin, transparent hands, these soft, lost muscles. Any part would be joy to touch. My heart is opened as a young lover. More, my heart more open than a young lover. I have reached beyond anger, beyond desire. You have so little left of you that's superficial. Only the heart is left. It greets my heart. Only the ferocious love is left. Only the blessing touch tiptoeing over my face. Your frail, eloquent fingers. Even with the smell of piss, the ache, the awe of death, the lips that refuse food, the spirit claiming its destiny, the hour of vigil, the slow breaths, the unbeliever sitting in miracle. We are very together here, and we are very lone. Each of us finally sure this is love.